In the heart of Elydris, an ancient shrine world bathed in perpetual twilight, the air hummed with reverent quiet. Archival lamps glowed along the marble corridors of the Temple of Eternal Vigil, their amber light reflecting off polished stone floors. Archivist Corvin leaned over a meticulously rolled parchment, quill poised, tracing words with deliberate care. The vaulted ceiling soared like the ribs of a colossal, slumbering beast. Stained glass windows cast fractured colors across the floor. Azure, crimson, and gold weaving stories of faith into the quiet chamber. Each panel depicted moments long past. Battles fought, sacrifices made, victories both grand and quiet. The scent of aged parchment and burning incense lingered in the temple. Beeswax candles flickered, casting dancing shadows across walls lined with tomes, their leather bindings worn by centuries. Around him, acolytes and clerics moved with careful purpose, tending to archives and consulting star charts tracing pilgrim ships across the void. Corvin paused, letting the warm glow from the central stained glass window fall across his parchment. Today, he would begin the chronicles of the daughters of the Emperor. Those warrior women whose courage had shaped history in ways often unrecorded. Centuries ago, the Imperium faced growing threats: rebellion, heretical cults, and alien incursions. In the crucible of strife, a group of devout women arose, dedicated to protecting the faithful and upholding the Emperor's light. Unlike battle-hardened space marines, they relied not just on strength, but on discipline, faith, and moral clarity. Their first missions were small, yet pivotal, guarding pilgrims through perilous worlds, purging heretical enclaves, standing as unwavering symbols of devotion. Even in their earliest days, their courage was tempered by wisdom. They acted decisively, but with an understanding of humanity: mercy for the innocent, sternness for the guilty, and reverence for the Emperor's will. The young warriors faced trials that would define their legacy. On Mirelia Secundus, a world overrun by a cult claiming divine revelation, they moved silently through moonlit streets, armor catching faint silver light. A young sister knelt to comfort an orphan caught amidst the chaos, whispering prayers as she bandaged a burned arm. Another confronted the cult leader, a figure whose words once inspired faith, now twisted into blasphemy. The encounter ended swiftly, decisively, yet the sisters showed mercy where the guilty were ignorant or misguided. These acts of devotion, in moments of violence, revealed their deeper humanity. Chroniclers would later note that the daughters of the Emperor were remembered not just for enemies struck down, but for the lives they preserved. Amid the growing strength of the warrior order, ambition festered in the corridors of imperial governance. Certain officials sought to control the order, bending their devotion to political ends. Whispers of manipulation and intrigue spread through the Temple of Vigil. A young sister, unaware of the plotting, might carry out a mission that furthered a bureaucrat's ambition, unaware that her courage was a pawn in a larger game. Yet, even as shadows of ambition sought to taint them, the sisters remained true to their faith. Their discipline and loyalty ensured that, though politics shifted like sand, the heart of the order remained unbroken. As decades passed, the order's deeds grew into legend. They became beacons of hope on worlds plagued by corruption or war. Chroniclers documented quiet heroism, sisters standing between warring factions, protecting civilians from alien incursions, offering mercy to those who repented. Epic victories were recorded, but the narrative emphasized emotional depth. Sacrifices made in silence, moral choices weighed in the still of night, burdens of command carried with humility. The sisters were forged not just in battle, but in trials of faith, strength intertwined with wisdom, compassion, and the unwavering light of the Emperor. Corvin closed his quill, gazing once more at the stained glass above his alcove. The images glimmered as if alive, telling tales of devotion, sacrifice, and courage. He reflected on the sisters' legacy, faith tempered by understanding, strength guided by moral clarity, devotion expressed not through blind obedience, but conscious choice. Their story would endure long after the temple's candles were extinguished, long after the stars had shifted in the sky. The daughters of the Emperor were immortal in the hearts of those who remembered. Their chronicles preserved not just in parchment, but in the living memory of the faithful. With a final glance, Corvin dipped his quill once more and began to write. The golden light from the central window illuminating the first words of a new chapter in an endless story. Beyond the temple, Elydris itself whispered of trials yet to come. Pilgrims arrived on distant worlds, bringing stories of war and hope alike. The sisters traveled tirelessly, their armor glinting under foreign suns, their prayers a shield as much as their bolters. In the alleys of forgotten cities, they calmed the fearful, healed the wounded, and struck down those who would defile sacred trust. Each mission left its mark, not only on the people they protected, but on the women themselves. Their faces, beneath the helmets, carried the weight of countless lives, yet their eyes never faltered from the light of devotion. The chronicles of Elydris spoke of unity and strength, but also of sacrifice and doubt. Sisters wrestled with impossible choices, questioned commands when morality conflicted with duty, and found solace only in quiet prayer. It was in these moments, often unseen by others, that their true valor shone. The pages of the temple's archives captured these private triumphs as carefully as battles and victories. For Corvin knew that the heart of heroism resided not only in action, but in spirit. Through war-torn systems and starless voids, the daughters of the Emperor endured. They bore the light of faith into darkness, not as instruments of blind obedience, but as women of profound courage and wisdom. Chroniclers would recount battles and missions, yet the essence of the order lay in the choices made, the lives touched, and the unwavering devotion that guided them through centuries of turmoil. As Corvin finished his day's writing, he looked once more upon the stained glass, colors spilling across the parchment like memories of heroism past and promises yet unfulfilled. Every brush of quill on parchment was a testament, a bridge between history and eternity. The daughters of the Emperor, though forged in conflict and strife, would never be forgotten. And as long as scholars like Corvin recorded their deeds, their light would continue to shine across the Imperium, a beacon for those who dared to believe in courage, faith, and the enduring power of humanity.